Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Pop.vox Presents. I'm your host, Phil Vecchio, and tonight we have a very special guest. We have with us Joshua Aubrey Jackson of Make Sure. Thank you for being here tonight.
Hey.
Appreciate you joining us amidst some technical issues. If you are watching this live, congratulations. You found my personal page. If you're watching it later, it went out a little bit differently. But it's all going to be the same excellent Make Sure content that you were excited for. So we're good to go. I have Janelle over here running the scene behind the scenes, as always.
Hello.
And we're ready to rock and roll tonight. I'm so excited to have Make Sure here with us. Tell us a little bit, just really quick, for those that don't know, how are you representative of Make Sure as compared to like a whole band? Because I think if I'm not mistaken, you are Make Sure. Is this correct?
That is correct. Yeah. It's pretty much just me. But I have friends that help me out. They're really sweet to help me out, and on the records and stuff, or if we go play live, sometimes I'll take a band with me. But yeah, it's mostly it's pretty much my vision, my project, yeah. So I don't know. I guess I kind of like having the band name because that just sounds like it. Well, if someone's like listening to the record, I want to put forth this thing of this sort of idea that you're listening to a band playing, not
Absolutely.
just one guy fiddling around on a bunch of other instruments. But I don't know, maybe yeah, sometimes there's just more. I feel like there's more flexibility with a band name too. You can kind of just do a bunch of stuff as opposed to putting forth kind of a singer-songwriter thing. But not right or wrong either way. I just liked the band name thing.
Well, there's a long legacy of artists that are basically one person under a band name, so I think that's a good way to go. When we did see you, however, we watched a live show of Make Sure this summer at Audio Feed Festival. You did have a full band there with you. That was really cool to see.
That's right. Yeah, and that was a ton of fun, and was really awesome to get to meet y'all in person, because I know we had, I think, chatted online briefly, and then because once you said who you were, I was like, I do remember y'all. And, I thought that was really cool to get to connect in person. It always is. Anytime you know somebody online versus meeting them face to face, always is such a cool experience.
Well, it was very cool because, I mean, for those that don't know, you're in Alabama, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Alabama. But the festival we were at was in Illinois, and we're from California. So we hadn't really had a chance to come catch you live much. So it's really cool to be able to coordinate that and come out and see you play.
Yeah, and you were in the middle of a kind of a big family excursion.
Yeah, well, we built the excursion around this festival. I knew we wanted to come to the festival, so we did a whole road trip all around it, with that kind of being the center of the whole trip. So it was very worth it.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys made it out there.
Me too. And our kids, I mean, I don't know, they're listening from the other room, and they had something they wanted to show you, speaking of this. So if they want to run in real quick and show that off when they hear this, there's a little bit of a delay. But they'll come show that off there. That would be kind of cool. We've had fun. We've been listening to Make Sure for quite a while. I was first aware of Make Sure when the announcement from Tooth and Nail Records, actually, that they were putting out an album with you. That was kind of what put you on my radar, which is very cool. But you did a lot of stuff before that as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
We do have Luke and Audrey wanted to show off their little something that they got this summer at the festival.
Oh, yeah. Come on.
There we go.
Hello.
It is official.
There we go. Awesome. Thank you, models.
So
good. Get your Make Sure t-shirts now. We did have quite a hullabaloo trying to get the t-shirts paid for as well. It was. Oh my gosh!
Crazy with technology.
We really do know how to do stuff on the internet.
That's a big part of my job. every day
my
job.
2 interactions of you. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, I did not even think about that. For those that weren't there, we said we wanted to buy T-shirts. Janelle
I had been buying stuff.
yeah, and you had, what is it, Zelle or Venmo, right?
All weekend.
Venmo.
And then like all of a sudden, for some
It's
reason,
like no permit. It was like the same thing. You don't have
yeah, like
permission.
she couldn't log into her thing. We're like, no, we swear we're not trying to like steal T-shirts from you. It was this big long old thing. Finally, we got paid
Yes.
for it, and then tonight we try to get onto our thing to do this live stream. So, man,
I think Facebook is to blame.
I think so. It's got to
Or
be.
Meta.
Yeah, meta. It's meta.
Yeah.
It needs to quit being so meta and just let you live stream. Yeah.
Well, so we, like I was saying before, you've done a lot of stuff before the Tooth and Nail release, and from what I understand, watching your social media, you actually have a new one coming up. How is the progress on that going?
Yeah, going well. So it's done. The record's done, and I think sometime in the next week or so, we're gonna start kind of getting a game plan together for how we want to promote it. Just all that fun stuff. So
That's awesome.
But new records donezo, and I'm excited to share it. Share it with everybody.
Tooth and Nail Records again? Are we allowed to say? Is this?
That seems to be the case. Yeah.
Seems to be the case. All right. You heard it here first, folks, or maybe not. And is there an album name, or is that like hush hush stuff?
Yes. So the album is called June. Like the month.
Like the month. Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about all of that stuff if you want, but that's at least the short answer to your question.
Well, it's exciting. I'm very looking forward.
Yeah.
One final question on that, though: are we going to get a physical release of this at all?
To be determined. I don't know if I can say whether or not.
Okay.
Yeah, at that point. So.
Well, I'd just like to put it out there that there's at least one purchase here for any physical releases that you do, because
you are not the only one that asks.
It's good. That's good. Well, just remember, tell whoever the powers that be that people are asking, because normally during the show I'll pull out my collection of all the physical releases I have, and this time we had T-shirts. That was it, because it's all streaming, so it's hard for me.
It's that, and that's the whole conversation. I think my 2 cents thought on the whole, just the general kind of topic is it seems people aren't as into, people just don't care as much these days. I think, at least with vinyl, you got people that are kind of, they get excited about vinyls, or like cassettes. Like everybody likes cassettes.
Yeah.
Not everybody, but that's kind of making a comeback. But CDs, I always liked CDs because that's literally the highest fidelity quality you could listen to. And so I was always pretty jazzed about getting a new CD when it came out, but I don't know if that doesn't seem to be as much of a priority these days. So.
For some people, it's true. It's definitely like a large priority for a smaller group of people.
Yeah.
But when we came home from Audio Feed, I had about 45 CDs that we got there.
Whoa, so nice.
It is definitely a thing that people are still doing, and I just want to make sure that the Make Sure machine is aware that that's, But we'll take any physical release you got, so,
Oh, yeah. Well,
if you want to do 8-track, I'll find an 8-track player. We can make that happen.
Yeah, yeah. And did y'all get any CDs when you were...
from you?
Yeah.
No, you didn't have any. I think you guys forgot.
Send me... we have some stuff. When this is over, it's of older material, but I'd be more than happy to mail some stuff.
Okay, now we're talking. Yes.
Yeah. No. Just seriously, just shoot me a text or something.
Okay.
And
this is older stuff. You're talking like the ones that are on Bandcamp, because I have bought and listened to all of those.
Yes. Yeah. So that'd be Town Runner, Walk Home Instead. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I would love to get physical copies of those. We do listen to that stuff a lot. But
Oh, lovely.
my favorite is to
Yeah.
have it physically to hold. So that's very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Although, I mean, I would say too, like when Janelle first got Apple Music because of your release.
Yeah.
Really?
True.
Yeah, because we were heading out on a spring break trip, and we knew we were going to rent a car that didn't have a CD player, because I always bring CDs on our trips, but it's harder and harder to
They
find a
don't
car
have
with a
them
CD
with
player
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
rent.
Seriously.
So I'm like, Janelle's like, we're just going to have to
signed
go
up for
digital.
Apple Music.
And I'm like, well, okay, this will make it better because there's this band. I really like the stuff. He's got a new album coming out, and it's only digital, and it's like on Apple Music. So
Yeah.
we got Apple Music, and specifically to listen to that. And the great part is, like, you know, Janelle downloaded some of them, but like we were going on a road trip all throughout the Southwest, like through all the national parks in Utah and everything. So there wasn't internet. And so it got to a point where it was all we could listen to is what she downloaded, and that was just your album. And so we
So,
listened to that on
anyway,
repeat.
In the
Yeah.
remote parts of Bryce Canyon National Park.
That's like intricately
Wow.
connected in my brain.
It's connected visually.
And it fits
music.
perfectly. It really does.
That means so much to me to hear that. But it's kind of funny too. But I love it.
It is,
I
but
love
also it's. I mean, it couldn't have been a better soundtrack. I'm telling you.
So.
Yeah, that's so encouraging. Thank you.
Our kids know that album very well.
Yes.
You know.
We listen to it a lot.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
a question.
Oh, yes.
For the feed. We do have
Okay.
some viewers.
Yes,
that
they
made it
found
over
us. They
here.
found us. That's good.
Sweet.
So, our kids actually asked a question. There's several comments of people where they're
Okay, we'll get
listening
those too.
from.
That's good.
But the kids, Luke and Audrey, want to know, what bands do you like to listen to?
Ooh,
Maybe on a
Oh,
road
boy.
trip.
that's a good
On
question.
a road trip. Okay. Yes.
Road trip bands.
He's like, got
This-
it.
this-
if I'm just pulling up stuff on Spotify or whatever, what have you. Favorite road trip music. I'm just gonna say some stuff. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna think the Goo Goo Dolls.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah.
I'm getting the era there. It's good.
The Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Never fails.
That's my era.
There's another
I'm trying
band
to
that's
think.
a guy that has a band, but it's really a guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, well, James Iha as well. If you've never listened to any of James Iha's solo stuff from the Pumpkins, please do.
It's good.
Okay. I have
It's
not.
so good. And honestly, James Iha's work was like, for this next Mixture album, like I ought to just like send James Iha a fan letter or something and be like, hey man, you don't know me, but I was really trying to sound like you, you know. But The Cure,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Big Star, I'd say them. Who else? Road Trip.
It's a pretty good road trip, I'd
Gosh,
say.
That's such like a. There's so many things I've listened to on road trips, I guess. But those are some of the big names. I'm kind of.
That's good. That's who you download before you go out in the wilderness in case you can't listen to anything else.
Yeah.
True. I would also probably say My Bloody Valentine.
Ooh. You're a Starflyer fan at all?
and-
Starflyer 59?
Oh yeah, of
Okay.
course.
Okay. I thought so. I got my Levancourt shirt on tonight here. Starflyer.
Yes. Come on. Yeah, I say Starflyer. I mean, gosh, we could just go on and on, but
That's good. That's a pretty good list.
Yeah.
I'll put you out of your
Yeah.
misery there.
yeah, no, literally, I could be here 3 hours later. I'm talking about.
Use that.
You said we had a couple of other comments.
Well, just, I always put it like, tell us where you're watching from.
Of course, if we've got some
we
folks.
have Marilyn, hi from Big Bear.
Hello, Marilyn.
We have Tony watching from the dining room table.
Oh, it's a good.
Sweet.
And then the kids are
We-
so
And
excited.
the kids are so excited. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
So
Excellent. Thank you for finding us
found us.
over on the other channel. Very, very good. Very good. Awesome. Well, I think it would be cool at this point to maybe listen to some Make Sure music. How do you feel about that?
Yeah. Let's do it.
do
It's a good idea.
it.
All right, so we've got 2 songs we're going to go to tonight, and we're going to listen to one and then talk and then listen. So the first song that we've got is Japanese bonus track. Let's give it a listen.
Patience multiplies as I realize I'm in short supply.
Notice when I think I'm strong.
That's when the towers lean in. Out in an empty ballpark in wintertime, I was on my back trying to guess the reason why I was there alone. I saw an angry kid. When I swing it myself, I never miss. I guess I made it personal at the ballpark a year ago. Out on another bike ride in wintertime, couldn't leave my house without double layers. I had to take the road.
I had to take the road.
I never wanted to ride alone. I saw an angry kid. When I swing it myself, I never miss. I guess I made it personal at the ballpark a year ago. I saw the angry kid following me like he always is. I guess he makes it personal when it's just not. And it seems that it's just not.
Oh, it's so good. Yes. Such a cool version of that song.
Yeah.
Who's singing? Who's in the video with you?
That is a friend of mine named Marina. And she has a wonderful singing voice, and we've played many shows together. And anyway, yeah, but she on Ninjutsu and also this upcoming record, she has provided a lot of backing vocals and stuff.
Nice.
So, yeah, super talented, and very easy to work with. Very, very, very quick to work with. You know, she's one of those people that you kind of you just be like, "Can you do this thing?" And you like kind of play it out on, whatever, and she'll be like, "Yeah," and then just nail it, and 1 or 2 takes, and you're like, "Oh, that's perfect. We'll move on." So, you like it when people. I like it when people are very easy going and easy to work with, and she's like that for sure.
That's awesome. Question for you: why
Yeah.
Japanese bonus track, and does that fit in with the ninjutsu? I guess we didn't mention the name of this album on Tooth and Nail, Ninjutsu. Tell us about the
Yeah.
theme there.
Yeah. Well, in some instances, songs are just the song titles are silly just to be silly. Because I like well, we were talking earlier about the Smashing Pumpkins, and the Cure, and a bunch of other bands that I like. And I think one thing that I find interesting in a lot of the music that I like is juxtaposition of, you may have a really like somber or serious song. The message of the song is serious, or maybe kind of sad, or whatever, but the either name of the song or some of the elements within the song are kind of silly or kind of lighthearted.
Yeah.
And I think the juxtaposition of those two things, happy and sad, together is far more interesting than just, making a really sad song and calling it Depression, the song.
Sad,
That's just,
yeah.
that's just not, sometimes it works, but
Yeah, that's great.
more often than not, I don't know. I like the, to quote, I think it was Jim Atkins from Jimmy Eat World who said it, but he said something along the lines of, he's like, well, when I'm writing a song, if there's nothing hopeful in it, it's just not interesting to me. So
I like that.
I tend to feel the same way. Yeah. So do a Japanese bonus track.
Well, when I first saw the album, I was like, oh wait, how do I get the bonus track?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I grew up in the era of buying all these things on iTunes, albums on iTunes and stuff. Like when I was in middle school and stuff, if you liked an album, you had to buy. You should go buy it on iTunes or whatever. And I'd always remember iTunes had this thing that for a lot of albums, it would be the album that was originally, that you would get on the CD, but
Right.
They would have like one or two bonus tracks, and a lot of them would say Japanese bonus track. And I think that's because, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's because in Japan, CDs or physical media is like more expensive. So to give them more of an incentive to go buy that stuff, they would put extra goodies on there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, so I'm a little older. I'm not going to spoil how much older, but older enough that I bought the CDs that came out in America and then would read in the music magazines about, okay, there's these bonus tracks that only are in Japan, and then I'd have to try to hunt down the import to get those. Like there's a band I really love who was actually on Tooth and Nail quite a while earlier called Morellis Forest, and their last album, they had 3 songs that were exclusive to this Japanese release. It took me years to hunt it down. I tried importing it and I couldn't get it, and finally found it on like eBay about like 3 or 4 years ago, and it was like, finally got to hear these songs. So yeah, we used to have to work a little harder for them. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and there's such magic to that. I love that. And yeah, so I just thought it was just funny, kind of tongue-in-cheek kind of thing to
That's great.
name a song that and put it as like the 4th track on the album too. It was just kind of like,
I love it.
It's so stupid to do that, but also it was like, I don't know what it was about that, and I don't know, Phil, if you think this too, but just by having that little tag on it, whatever the song was on whatever album, if it was this like hidden bonus track, it was a little treat. It was like you're listening to it and you're immediately like, this is really cool. I like this, So it sort of has this aura, this power to be a really
special
great song.
feature.
So I thought some of that magic would be sprinkled on there just by virtue of me naming the song that.
You did, absolutely.
Who knows?
Absolutely.
There are some questions.
Yes, okay.
Well, our kids wanted to know why is it called Japanese bonus track. So they had the
well,
same question.
we did. We went over that. That's good.
But
There you go. Yeah.
Tony at the dining room table.
Tony at the dining room table.
He said, that was such a beautiful song. Who decorated? It added so much to the music.
Oh, thank you, Tony. Well, I'll say, so the guy that shot those videos is actually a friend of mine named Tony.
What?
Good taste.
And Tony and Marina. So one thing you should know about me, interior decoration is not one of my specialties. I kind of just strew stuff around the room, you know. But with that, they were like, "Well, we got to make this look good," and so I said, "Okay, well, I'll do whatever you need me to do." So I remember me and Marina went to a Michael's, like that outlet store with all the, and we bought a whole bunch of candles, and she was just like, just buy that, and then we'll put them up around, and it ended up looking really cool.
It's great,
And Tony decided to put that one's in black and white, so he said that would look really cool, and so I love just like trusting people who know what they're doing.
That's good. Yeah.
That's a relief, you know.
Well, Tony knew what he was doing, and Tony liked it.
Yeah. He's super talented. I want to brag on him too, because I think he recently got a gig shooting some video footage for like that band, the Chainsmokers. Like,
okay.
Shot footage for one of their music videos or something. I'm so happy for him that he's getting recognition.
That's awesome.
Because he does really good work. Yeah.
That is cool. Is there one other one I saw?
Oh, Tony just said, great team.
Oh, okay.
So
good. I will admit here, because we're laughing a lot. I don't want to think it's my dad. Tony's my dad. So
oh, cool.
I wouldn't just mock a regular stranger who's saying he's at the dining table. It's funny to me because it's my dad. So
your dad's really cool.
I do have a cool dad. So
and
yes.
super supportive parents.
Yes.
You can't laugh at that.
No.
Love that. Love that.
But he does sometimes go for the laugh in the comments, so I gotta reward him with that occasionally. So.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, okay, so we have a second song that we were gonna play here. This is, I will fully admit, the favorite amongst our family here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but at the festival, Janelle called out a request for this, and you dedicated this track to her. So
yes,
I have it on video.
She has it on video, so
yeah,
it's pretty.
No, that was so special, and I was, anytime if anyone's gonna say, hey, I want you to play this song that you wrote, no matter who you are, it's like that's such a special feeling,
that's
and
special.
that's really sweet, and that encouraged me greatly. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm very excited. I mean, I have gotten to see this. This is a very cool version of this song as well. So let's check out Girl Drummer.
Yeah.
I was dumb to replay any of our memories in my head. I don't see the point of it, or why the songs when like make me feel sick. Gotta get over drawing a circle around that bit. I kept an eye out if you ever walked by. So here's the point when the watchman falls asleep. resort, I played you a song, and I looked dumb. You played along on the drums. Ain't it funny how a song gets old? Grudges get lost. Time just goes on. A new wave laps over the older. A song gets old. Grudges get lost. Time just goes on. A new wave laps over the older. A song gets old. Grudges get lost. Time just goes on. A new wave laps over the older one. Last resort, I played you a song, and I looked dumb. You sound good on the drums.
Gosh, I just love that song. It is well done. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Is that another Tony
Tony.
decoration there, or is that
Yes.
just yeah?
Tony did all those videos. I think there was 3. I think we did another one for Day I Moved Out. And but yeah, he did all of those and did a really great job, and it was really fun working with him. Always fun to do stuff with your friends, obviously. But
And you
Yeah,
just
he
happen to get it on a rainy day too? Like that's
yeah, it was pretty wild. And he like, you can't see it because he had it on like a, I guess like a balance gimbal thing, whatever, for his camera. But
Right.
when it's like rotating around us, all I remember was like we were sitting there, we were playing, and he's just running like super hard around us. But it looked really smooth,
Right.
because of the way he had everything set up. But I just remember him just booking it around us. But you know, that's a good videographer, is that they might look silly doing their thing, but
Right. It pays
the
off.
end
Little behind
thing that comes
the
off,
scenes
yeah.
magic.
What do you call that thing?
yeah, of course.
Steadicam.
I thought
Yeah,
it was
Steadicam.
Yeah, it's Steadicam.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. it's just a great version of it, and but I also love the album version. That gets played on repeat a lot around
Yeah.
here, so.
And
I appreciate it.
Speaking of behind the scenes,
Yeah.
Luke and Audrey wanted to know what is the song about, or what's the behind the scenes
Ooh.
info about the song.
Yeah. Girl drummer.
Girl drummer.
Yeah, so candidly speaking, I think that song, gosh, it was probably written over 4 years ago now, but yeah, I had there was a girl I had dated, and we broke up, and then I tried to, there's the macho thing to do in the movies, the movies and TV shows where and it wasn't exactly like this, but where you always hear about like, well, if you really love her, you'll just you'll win her back by playing her a song or writing her a poem or something.
Right.
And And so I pretty much we were I wasn't like this like me outside of her window throwing rocks or anything. It wasn't
Holding
like
the
that, but
boombox over your head.
Boombox, yeah.
it was honestly it was just like we were all just hanging out and playing music, and I think there was a song that she liked that when we were dating I would sing it, and then like so I thought I got this idea in my head. I was like, I bet if I played that song again, that might stir back some of those old emotions and get the wheels going again. And it just kind of fell flat. Nothing really worked. So it ended up just being this kind of awkward thing. But
It's a beautiful song.
Made for a
man.
good song though after the fact.
But yeah, so that was kind of the point, was just that I mean, I remember feeling like really embarrassed and all kinds of stuff, but then sort of having that cathartic realization over time that I would tell that story to people, and like how many times people like, not exactly that situation, but being like, oh man, I've had the same experience to some degree,
Yeah.
and just having people being kind of like, yeah, me too. Like I've made a fool of myself doing this or that. And so I think that song I just wanted to put something out there in a musical form to maybe encourage someone who has had a similar experience.
Love it.
To let them know it's not the end of the world, and they're just human. And they when we're really emotional and we're really we're the emotions are high, we do things that maybe later down the line you're kind of like, that was a little silly of me to do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but and honestly, that song is about forgiveness as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a major theme throughout the whole record, and just about forgiving that person. These things romantic relationships are so can be so tricky, because if you put so much into them, and if they don't work out, then you're left with all kinds of big emotions that might, namely one that I've struggled with for a long time and still do some days, is resentment and being angry at people for things not turning out the way that I wanted them to. So I think I wanted to sing about forgiveness, and do it and make a song that felt like the process of having to forgive someone, so that's why and it's always like, it's interesting to me that song is the one that resonates with people the most off of that album, because it's not, it's topsy-turvy, like it just kind of goes in all these different directions, and that was intentional, because that, to me, I always thought forgiveness, before I actually had to truly forgive, when getting older, you have these experiences where you're faced with, I forget who it is, C.S. Lewis or somebody had a quote that was like, forgiveness sounds like a really great idea until you're the one that has to do it. But
yeah.
And that was pretty much it, where it was like, I was under the impression that forgiving someone would be this movie moment where the light bulb comes on and you're like, oh wow, I have my heart has changed, and I 100% forgive this person for for all the ways that they hurt me, or just whatever. And I come to find out that's not how it works. And forgiveness is it's a choice that we implement over and over again, in spite of our feelings of resentment and bitterness and all those things, and choosing to will the good of another person in spite of how I feel. And that just feels like a roller coaster. So that's kind of what I wanted that song to be, where you're in one kind of mood for a second, and then it just you're in another one, and then you go to another one, because that's what the I think choosing to forgive someone over and over again, even daily, because that was the season I was in at the time. Just daily having to choose, I forgive this person, I'm going to love this person, I'm going to forgive them. And I think the process of grief is like that too. And Ninjutsu, the album, from start to finish, I wanted it to be kind of this, you start in that denial stage, and then you sort of work through. I don't know if it's a one-to-one exactly would follow the map of the stages of grief,
Right.
but like by the end of the record, to have some semblance of acceptance. And so the first line of the record is, there's a big sea between you and me. And that is like, the resentment, the distance of like me just kind of like, I can't even think about being kind to this person or wanting anything good for them. But then by the end of the record, you have OKC, which is, there's a line in that with, I can be okay with the sea and join the human race. And basically me just admitting that this is something that I'm going to learn to accept. It's a scar, I'm not going to like forget everything that happened, but I can learn to live with this reality that was something that did happen. I can learn from it. And a definition of forgiveness that a friend of mine gave me that really helped me was like, forgiving someone means, well, it doesn't mean that you have to be buddy with them and just act like nothing ever happened. But it does mean that you have to choose to love them, even at a distance. Like it might not be appropriate to be in that person's life anymore. And that, in my particular case, it wasn't appropriate. And so but it was still like, you have to forgive that person. You have to choose to, make an effort and make the choice to say that I'm not going to let, this person's posture towards me or actions towards me define who I am or have power over me. So I'm going to overcome that with like just choosing to love. I was going to say overcome evil with good. I also want to point that I don't think this person was evil. I think that these like you, because I want to say overcome evil with good. I'm not saying we're evil. I think two young people date. There's all kinds of possibilities for that to go wrong in so many different ways. But
pain, maybe overcome pain.
Yes,
there you go.
Absolutely, yeah, and forgiving the pain that was experienced, and just learning to. And I've heard and learned that like dealing with grief and dealing with pain is a lot like the ocean tide. You have to sort of let it just wash over you. And that was where a lot of the ocean, the sea imagery and stuff was coming from that. So that's the long-winded answer, but Girl Drummer is just a part of that whole thing. So that was my long-winded answer of what that song and the record is about.
No, I love it. It's something that, I mean, I know I can, and other people I'm sure can identify with, that whole process you described. And it's one of the things that just really drew me to this record, that it's clearly a thought out, it's a whole piece, and I love that kind of thing. And I love that, like you kind of mentioned earlier, that you're willing to have some almost silly song titles and stuff to kind of, it's funny. I know the kids will want me to mention this, but before we'd gotten a chance to hear it, I knew there was a new Tooth and Nail band, and I don't know how far back you go with Tooth and Nail, like listening wise, but I was there from the beginning when it was a lot of pop punk and hardcore and stuff like that, you know, and so I knew there was a new band that was on Tooth and Nail. They had an album called Ninjutsu, and we were like looking at the song titles, like Girl Drummer, OKC, and we were like kind of imagining what the songs would be like, because I pictured like them all being pop punk songs, right? And then we
wow.
listen to the
There it
album
is.
and we're like, oh wow,
Oh.
it's like such a juxtaposition of what we were imagining. And I love it so
Wow.
much. And so we very fondly sometimes sing our like pop punk versions of the song titles throughout the album.
Please
I'm not
let
going to
me hear
perform
that
it here
someday.
now, but we have a lot of fun with it. And I just love that.
Yeah.
I love that you're willing to play with that. And you're right. Like that, I don't know, for whatever reason, it really adds to the experience of the album.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's an
fantastic.
experience.
Highly recommended to everyone listening. Check out Ninjitsu. At least on Apple Music. I know it's on Spotify, other things, I'm sure, right? It's elsewhere. We listen to it on Apple Music, so I know it's there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's whatever the internet that's out there.
Yeah, you can find it there. Well, Joshua, I want to thank you so much for being here with us tonight. This is just a fantastic conversation. Love your music. Love hearing about it all. Before we let you go, can you please tell us where can people find you on the internet? Where's the best place to follow you, find your music, and all that kind of stuff? Janelle's going to put some in the comments there.
Yeah, the best place to find me would be on Instagram at makesure.music, I believe is the handle. I think I have a Facebook page lying around somewhere, but I got rid of all my personal social media stuff a few years ago, and I've just never looked back. Not judging anybody that still has that stuff, but for me personally, it wasn't doing me any good. So but I have the one band page on Instagram. So
it is there. It's
I
not
also
super
put
active. Bandcamp. Well, I was just going to say, if you
Bandcamp,
are looking
that's
to
right,
follow on Facebook, it's Make Sure Music. That helps you find it there.
Yeah. So I think that's the only two places.
And then Bandcamp, because that's where you've got the older albums that you can buy digitally.
Yes. Yeah. And please, if anyone wants to be a sweetheart and buy old records on Bandcamp and stuff, please do.
They're great. They're great too. So we have the whole collection. It's good.
And I appreciate that. Yeah.
Janelle shared some of the links in the
links are
comments
in the
there
stream.
if you're watching live here. So please check those out.
And Tony said thank you for sharing that.
Oh, yes.
So
Excellent. Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you again. Any final words that you would like to share, Joshua, before we let you go?
Be on the lookout for a new record.
Yes.
Sometime soon.
Very stoked to hear that.
And this was a ton of fun, guys. And I really appreciate you having me on and talking to me. So it was good to see everybody's faces again. And, and reconnect.
Thank you so much. This is great, and thank you for your patience with our various technology issues.
usually we just get to hang out
I know.
beforehand.
Yeah,
Sound
I make
check.
sure we get extra time to
So.
chat, and this time it was different. So I appreciate your patience, but this is very, very cool. So thank you. And thank you everyone for joining us. If you're watching live, if you're watching later on YouTube or
We understand.
wherever, that's totally understandable. Please be joining us again very soon. On December 2nd is our next live show. We have our 26th annual Blue Christmas, which has Third Culture Kid, Eric Kennedy, RB Brown, and Isopod. So very excited for that. And coming up in January, we'll have Ronnie Martin of Joy Electric on the show. So very excited to have that as well. And I think that's going to do it. Thank you, Janelle.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, Joshua. And we'll see you guys all next time on the next episode. Have a good night, everybody.